means some possible severe weather with Tallahassee and Wilkes County under severe thunderstorm watch tonight. There's a big band of thunderstorms coming our way. A full look at what to expect coming up.
As Tim said, we are continuing to follow the developments in the arraignment of former President Donald Trump, who entered a not guilty plea. We'll have updates for you in this newscast. Also, UPS workers still hammering out the kinks in their new contracts. Details on the vote being held today. Plus, a woman rescues, or escapes rather, from a cinder block cage with her bare hands. Now the FBI is searching the nation for more possible victims. Your news at 4:30 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4:30.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dee Griffin. Thanks so much for joining us. We have been seeing some rain today, which was a welcomed sight to decrease the temperatures for us. So it was pretty pleasant outside, although it was cloudy. Let's get a first look at our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller. Tim.
Indeed, we're going to start tonight by talking about at least till midnight and maybe even beyond as they continue into Friday. School day forecast starts off stormy and will end stormy. We'll detail the rest of what we can expect for tonight and tomorrow coming up in just a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Tim, thanks so much. We continue with an unprecedented day in American history. Former President Donald Trump summoned to D.C. federal court today, pleading not guilty to new charges from special counsel Jack Smith. Justin Finch reports.
Former President Donald Trump arriving at the Washington, D.C. federal courthouse to respond to his 4-count indictment from special counsel Jack Smith amid heavy security. Trump indicted on felony charges including conspiracy to defraud the United States and conspiracy against rights. Prosecutors allege Trump and his allies plotted to overturn his 2020 election loss to Joe Biden, culminating in the deadly January 6th riot at the Capitol.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy.
A U.S. Marshal spokesperson tells ABC News Trump will not be handcuffed or take a mugshot photo, but his fingerprints will be scanned. The indictment also accusing Trump of knowingly promoting false election fraud claims and pressuring former Vice President Mike Pence to reject electoral votes on January 6th. Pence, now Trump's Republican rival for the 2024 presidential nomination, echoing that allegation on Fox.
The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes.
Trump's defense attorney denying that accusation on CNN.
The ultimate request that Mr. Trump made to Vice President Pence was pause the vote counting, allow the states to weigh in.
Trump has denied any wrongdoing and is expected to plead not guilty. Trump's defense team is blasting this latest indictment as an attack on his free speech, but Trump's former attorney general is hitting back, saying free speech does not give one the right to engage in fraudulent conspiracy. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
After his court appearance, Mr. Trump plans to return to campaigning, and this includes a stop in the Palmetto State on Saturday night. He will be the keynote speaker at the South Carolina Republican Party's annual fundraising gala. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster spoke about the most recent indictment against former President Trump. The governor saying after reviewing parts of the indictment, he doesn't see any substance to the case.
I don't think the law fits it. I don't think the facts fit it. And this is a campaign against Donald Trump.
Governor McMaster went on to say that he will continue to support the former president. Well, today, UPS employees are voting on their new contract with the shipping giant. Teamsters union leaders and UPS executives reached a tentative agreement last week, 1 week before their strike deadline. The deal would boost full and part-time hourly pay over 5 years. It also authorizes the installation of air conditioners and other cooling features for drivers of UPS trucks. Voting on the contract continues through August 22nd. Amazon is going from the world of e-commerce to the world of telehealth. The company's virtual clinic program is now available in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. Customers can get care around the clock through the tech giant's website or app. There, they can compare prices and response times before picking a telemedicine provider from several options. It does not accept insurance, though, so you will pay out of pocket. The IRS is planning to go paperless by 2025. That means most taxpayers will be able to digitally submit tax documents and other communications to the IRS by the next filing season. Going paperless could reduce the huge load of paperwork that has plagued the tax agency and help save roughly $40 million the IRS spends annually to store more than 1 billion historical documents. A woman manages to escape from a cinder block cell she was being kept inside in a man's home in Portland, Oregon. The suspect, 29-year-old Nagazi Zuberi, is accused of posing as an undercover police officer and kidnapping the victim in Seattle last month. He then allegedly drove 450 miles to Klamath Falls, Oregon, sexually assaulting her during the trip. Zuberi left the woman in that makeshift cell built inside of a garage. She was later able to escape captivity after repeatedly banging on the locked door and flagging down a driver.
I'm very shocked, honestly. Did not think that it was going to be this severe.
There's always a bunch of dogs barking over there.
The victim's focus, actions, and her will to survive triggered a law enforcement response that may have actually saved many other women from a similar nightmare.
The suspect was arrested the next day after a standoff in Reno, Nevada. If convicted on charges of kidnapping and assault, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. We'll be right back.
Whatever you order, own it at checkout. Get your late night flavor fix. Hey there, I'm Anna Christina, host of The Dish.
And I'm Caroline.
She's going to be joining us for First Friday in our top 10 back-to-school tips.
And after that, we'll chat with Augusta Plastic Surgery and AU Health Imaging as our connection champion.
It's all happening Friday at 12:30 on The Dish.
Fly direct to Washington, D.C.
Negotiations are expected to continue in the Hollywood writers' strike as both sides agree to meet. Sam Rubin has all the details in today's entertainment report.
We begin with this. More than 3 months ago, union writers, the people who come up with the stories and the scripts for both movies and TV shows, folded up their laptops, put their writing pads away, pens down, picket signs up. Those pickets started in May. Once talks broke down, the Guild has long said they stand ready to talk with producers, but producers simply would not talk with them. Word now from the AMPTP, the umbrella group representing studios and streamers, we now are ready to talk. So this is the note the Writers Guild members sent to their writers late Tuesday. The AMPTP, through Carol Lombardini, she's the chief negotiator, reached out to the WGA today and requested a meeting this Friday to discuss negotiations. We'll be back in communication with you sometime after the meeting with further information. As we've said before, be wary of rumors. Whenever there's important news to share, you will hear it directly from us. That is the Writers Guild leadership to writers. Meanwhile, the producers are still not talking to the actors. Week 3 of the SAG-AFTRA strikes. And again, no union actors are working. And now another huge donation to the SAG fund, helping actors through difficult times. Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane, not only on the picket line, but writing a check, a big one, for $1 million to help support the fund. Seth is not alone. SAG Fund reports other major names have come through with major donations, $1 million checks. Look at this list. George Amal Clooney, Matt Damon and his wife, Leonardo DiCaprio, Hugh Jackman and his wife, Dwayne Johnson, Nicole Kidman, Ben and Jen, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, Julia Roberts, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Meryl Streep, and Oprah Winfrey. Can the writers and producers come up with some sort of deal that will serve as a template for the actors too, and a caution. The last time the writers went on strike, on the 27th day of that strike, writers and producers started to talk. They reached an agreement 73 days later. So, the overall duration of these Hollywood strikes, how long they'll last, we still, frankly, have no idea. That is your entertainment report here in Hollywood. I'm Sam Rubin.
Thanks for points to view in the area. A full look at your forecast, what to expect for tonight, as well as your Friday, all coming up.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 6, a local high school put on a lockdown today after a fight. We'll have the details.
Plus, what Augusta Mayor Garnett Johnson is saying about his first 8 months on the job.
And a local garbage company still having issues with Columbia County pickups. News Channel 6 at 6 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brad Means.
And I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thanks so much for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with a first check of the forecast.
And let's go straight to our chief meteorologist, Tim Miller.
Brad, Jenny, we've been tracking the Brad.
Tim, thanks so much. Coverage you can count on continues now with a large fight forcing Aiken High School on a soft lockdown today. Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Capistock joins us now live with more. Sean.
Brad, Jenny, the scene here a little less hectic than how it was earlier today. The school resource officer here at Aiken High School contacted the sheriff's office and public safety a little before 1 o'clock just to get a handle on the situation. We're told after a short time, investigators had everything under control. 6 juveniles are now in custody, charged in connection with that fight in the school cafeteria. More arrests are likely. Investigators say no weapons were located or used, but there were some minor injuries because of the accident. I had a chance to speak with several parents. Here's what one had to say.
I'm very concerned and nervous, and I wish they would put up metal detectors. And you're scared to send your child to school now.
Meanwhile, investigators did say a knife was found near where that fight took place. Officers found it, secured it. It wasn't involved in the incident. Meanwhile, the motive for the fight is still unclear tonight. For now, live in Aiken, I'm Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Capistock, WJBF News Channel 6.
It has been a busy first day.
McCann Waste is still struggling to pick up people's trash in Columbia County. Its website and Facebook profile were recently taken down. Hannah Latier explains how another trash hauler is helping out McCann's customers.
McCann Waste has been going through it for several months now. Trucks breaking down, employees quitting. It's left them with very little resources to continue its services and a lot of backlash from their customers who say they're out of the loop. Ryland Environmental out of Dublin, Georgia has been helping them on their routes while one of their trucks is being fixed. Its managing partner told us McCann's owners took down its website and Facebook page because they were getting threats against their children. He says they're scheduled to be back on track by next week, and they will be making a statement in the next few days on Ryland's website and Facebook page about how McCann's service and payments will be handled going forward. McCann customers tell us they have reached out to the company multiple times and even offered to help pick up the trash, but have gotten no response. They tell us their biggest issue is the lack of communication.
I understand that the man's busy, especially with lack of employees, but you still got to find a couple minutes of the day to respond, especially if somebody's willing to help. And again, I was just one person, but if there's anybody else like me out there, and I'm sure there are, there's a lot of people who are willing to help people.
We reached out to McCann Waste but haven't heard back yet. Its U.S. Department of Transportation number is still active, meaning they can still operate. Brad?
All right, Hannah Latier tonight. It is the first day of school for students in McDuffie County. Also, elementary school students going back to the classroom in Richmond County. And we caught up with some of them at Warren Road Elementary School, where they were excited for the bell to ring. The superintendent out there as well, talking about what he's looking forward to this year.
Initiative this year is to get our parents involved. This morning we could say our parents excited. They arrived early and they're just looking forward to a wonderful school year. We're going to mobilize PTAs, PTOs, school councils. So it's going to be an exciting year, particularly with our parents being engaged.
Now, Richmond County's K through 8 and their middle and high school students head back to school on Monday.
A Columbia County mother will not face charges after her toddler died in a car accident in April. Investigators say 29-year-old Samisha Smith tried to avoid hitting the car in front of her on Columbia Road when she swerved into the path of an oncoming car. Her 3-year-old daughter was killed. At the time of the accident, the sheriff's office said Smith was at fault and faced possible charges of vehicular homicide and failure to maintain lane. The office has since decided not to press charges, saying the mother will have to live with the loss of her daughter for the rest of her life, and it was truly an accident.
Still out on News Channel 6, Georgia state lawmakers looking to make changes to the classroom.
White class sizes are the latest concern for teachers. When your news at 6 continues.
Flash cheer.
The Georgia Association of Educators calling on state lawmakers to eliminate class size waivers. The goal is to keep teacher-student ratios smaller. Education experts say class sizes are larger these days, and teachers are desperate for more time, fewer meetings, better pay, and just more classroom resources. Another concern is the lack of mental health counselors in schools.
The issues that our Georgia educators are talking about with student discipline and student behavior since the pandemic is something that we are seeing across the nation, and something that is going to require more mental health resources, more school counselors, more social workers for us to deal with that issue as we move forward.
And parents, you are encouraged to go to those open houses so you can understand what is happening in your child's school.
Tim is back over at the desk, keeping an eye on those showers coming our way, Tim.
Yeah, and some strong storms. We're getting severe.
Mobile app.
Today, more students in our viewing area are starting a new school year.
As districts welcome the kids back to the classroom, we want to share some back-to-school photos from the News Channel 6 family. Take a look. Look at that handsome gentleman. Who's that? Down the right. Jenny, dashing.
Oh, John.
TD looking good. Excellent. Everybody else has aged well, I'll say that. Tim.
Yeah, I've aged over the last hour with these storms that we've been tracking. That's for sure. All right, we have a severe thunderstorm warning